10 small daily changes that lead to massive success. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to win in life while others stay stuck no matter how hard they dream? It's not luck. It's not talent. The truth is, your future isn't built in a day. It's built in the small choices you make every single day when no one is watching. Most people fail not because of one big mistake, but because they ignore the small things that matter. On the other hand, those who succeed don't perform miracles. They master the small disciplines that compound into extraordinary results. Today, I'm going to share 10 small daily changes that look insignificant now but can completely transform your life, career, and destiny if you apply them consistently. If you truly desire success, you cannot afford to miss a single point, because any one of these habits could be the key that unlocks your breakthrough. These are 10 small daily changes. 1. Start your day with intention. Don't wake up and drift. Spend 10 minutes every morning setting your priorities. Intentional mornings lead to productive days. 2. Read or listen to something growth-oriented for 15 minutes. Books, podcasts, or videos that feed your mind will feed your future. Knowledge compounds. 3. Practice gratitude. Write down 3 things you're grateful for daily. Gratitude keeps you grounded and opens doors for more blessings. 4. Move your body. Exercise for at least 20 minutes. A strong body sharpens a strong mind. 5. Plan tomorrow tonight. End each day by writing down your top 3 tasks for the next day. This simple act removes decision fatigue and keeps you focused. 6. Limit negative inputs. Reduce exposure to gossip, toxic news, and negative conversations. Protect your mental environment like your life depends on it, because it does. 7. Track your finances. Record every expense, no matter how small. Small leaks sink big ships. 8. Speak positive words daily. Your words create your reality. Replace "I can't" with "I will" and watch your life change. 9. Spend 30 minutes on your main goal. Whatever your biggest dream is, work on it every single day, even if only for 30 minutes. Consistency beats perfection. 10. Reflect before you sleep. Spend 5 minutes asking, what did I do well today? What can I improve tomorrow? Self-awareness is the engine of growth. Success is not a mystery. It's not luck. It's not a result of being born in the right place, at the right time, to the right family. It's not about who you know or what you look like. Real, lasting success follows a system, a pattern, a rhythm, a set of daily decisions that compound over time. The problem is most people are waiting for a moment that doesn't exist. They're waiting for a breakthrough, a flash of genius, a miracle, or for motivation to suddenly sweep over them like a wave. But life doesn't work like that. People don't stumble into greatness. They build it, brick by brick, often in silence while no one is watching. It's tempting to believe that successful people got lucky or were given some unfair advantage. But if you study their lives carefully, you'll find something different. You'll see systems. You'll see discipline. You'll see ordinary routines done with extraordinary consistency. You'll see people who made small, intentional decisions daily and stuck with them long enough for the results to become visible. Success is never one big leap. It's the result of thousands of small steps, most of which feel insignificant at the time. It's setting an alarm and actually getting up. It's choosing to read instead of scroll. It's saying no when everyone else says yes. It's making the phone call, showing up early, writing the plan, following through, even when no one's applauding. The system is simple, but not easy. That's why most people don't follow it. They want results without repetition. They want transformation without process. They want elevation without discipline. But the truth is this: the process is the price. Success doesn't respond to emotion. It responds to structure. If your life doesn't have a system, it will default to chaos. What you don't manage will eventually manage you. That's why the small things matter. Because small things become patterns. Patterns become habits. Habits become your life. Look at nature. Everything successful follows a system. Seeds don't turn into trees overnight. They follow cycles of watering, exposure, pruning, and growth. Seasons operate in order. The tide has a rhythm. The sun rises on time every single day. There's no rush, no panic, just systems. And everything that flourishes aligns with that rhythm. You have to stop waiting for permission to live successfully. Stop hoping that someday you'll magically become the person you dream of being. That day will never come unless you create it. And you create it by designing a life that supports your growth every single day. This is where it begins, with your system. Your morning routine, your sleep schedule, your thoughts, your words, your environment. The people you surround yourself with, the food you eat, the content you consume. The way you handle distractions, every single part of your life is either part of your success system. When you see success not as a destination but as a system, everything changes. You stop chasing hype and start cultivating habits. You stop waiting for motivation and start leaning into mastery. You realize that the real work is invisible, but the results are undeniable. If you want to change your future, change your system. If you want to build success, build it daily, quietly, consistently, intentionally. Because once the system is in place, results become automatic. Success isn't something you get, it's something you grow. And the good news is you can start growing it today. The difference between the life you have and the life you want isn't a giant leap. It's a series of micro habits, tiny actions, small choices, decisions so minor they often go unnoticed. But over time, these small, repeated behaviors form the framework of your future. You don't become successful all at once. You become successful gradually through the seemingly insignificant things you do every day. Micro habits are powerful because they bypass resistance. They don't require massive energy or motivation. They're so small, they feel almost effortless. Yet when repeated consistently, they begin to rewire your identity, shift your mindset, and create unstoppable momentum. Think about it. Drinking 1 glass of water every morning doesn't seem like much. But do it for 365 days and you've hydrated your body enough to improve your focus, energy, and clarity. Writing 1 sentence in a journal doesn't feel like a breakthrough. But over the course of a year, you've created a record of your progress, patterns, and emotional growth. Reading 1 page a day may not seem like it matters, but by the end of the year, you've read several books. Ideas that can change the way you think, work, and live. Micro habits work because they focus on the process rather than the pressure. When you set massive goals, you often overwhelm yourself before you even begin. But when you start small, so small that it's impossible to fail, you remove the resistance. You shift from perfection to progress, from intensity to consistency. The real power of micro habits lies in what they trigger. A small win builds confidence. A small action creates momentum. A small routine becomes a lifestyle. When you floss 1 tooth, you'll likely floss them all. When you commit to 5 push-ups, you might do 10. When you write 1 line, you often end up writing a paragraph. Small steps naturally lead to bigger ones. The hardest part is starting. Micro habits remove that barrier. They also build identity. Every time you follow through on a micro habit, you cast a vote for the person you want to become. When you say, I'm the kind of person who exercises daily, even if it's just for 5 minutes, you begin to believe it. Your actions slowly reinforce your new identity. And once you believe you are that person, your behavior starts to align with it automatically. But here's the catch. Micro habits don't show instant results. They don't give you a high. That's why most people underestimate them. We're conditioned to crave speed, to want big changes fast. But the truth is, all lasting change is slow. And most real breakthroughs are boring before they become beautiful. The results of micro habits are invisible in the beginning. There's no applause, no visible transformation, no fireworks. But something powerful is happening beneath the surface. You're developing self-trust. You're reprogramming your patterns. You're setting the foundation for success that lasts, not just for a season, but for a lifetime. This is how greatness is built. Quietly, consistently, in the small things. Success isn't about waking up one day and becoming a new person. It's about choosing every day to make one small decision in the right direction and then doing it again tomorrow. If you want massive success, stop chasing big moments. Start building small habits, the kind that fit into your day so easily you can't say no to them. The kind that grows stronger each time you show up. Because the truth is, it's not the giant leaps that change your life. It's the small steps, done daily, that take you exactly where you were always meant to go. Motivation feels good, but it's unreliable. It comes and goes. It depends on mood, environment, energy, even the weather. One day you're ready to conquer the world, and the next you can't get out of bed. That's the trap most people fall into. They wait for motivation to show up before they act. But success doesn't belong to the most motivated, it belongs to the most disciplined. Discipline is the engine that keeps you moving forward when motivation disappears. It's doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like doing it, especially then. Because the real test of growth isn't what you do when you're inspired. It's what you do when you're tired, unmotivated, frustrated, and tempted to quit. That's where the gap is closed. That's where character is forged. Motivation is like a match. It sparks quickly, flares up brightly, and then fades. Discipline, on the other hand, is like a steady flame. It burns slow and strong. It doesn't need emotion. It needs commitment. It doesn't rely on how you feel. It relies on who you've decided to become. Discipline is a decision, and it's one you make every single day, often without applause, without recognition, and without instant reward. When you live by discipline, you take control of your life. You stop waiting for perfect moments. You stop depending on external energy to create internal action. You start showing up whether you feel like it or not. And over time, those moments of discipline add up. Each one strengthens your focus, sharpens your mindset, and deepens your confidence. The truth is, you will never always feel like doing the right thing. You won't always feel like waking up early. You won't always feel like going to the gym, sticking to your plan, writing that page, or saying no to distractions. But the person who is disciplined doesn't wait to feel it. They choose to act, and the feelings catch up later. Discipline doesn't mean being harsh with yourself. It means being committed to yourself. It means honoring your future self more than your current comfort. Every time you say no to temporary pleasure in favor of long-term purpose, you are stepping into a higher version of yourself. That's where success begins, not in the hype, not in the highlight reels, but in the quiet moments when no one is watching, and you still choose to follow through. We admire disciplined people because we see the results, but we often ignore the sacrifices behind those results. Discipline means turning down excuses. It means sticking to your standards. It means getting back up when you slip and starting over without drama. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You won't always be the most talented. You won't always be the most prepared, but if you can be the most consistent, you will win. Over time, consistency beats intensity. Discipline beats motivation, and showing up beats waiting for inspiration. If you're serious about creating success, stop chasing feelings. Start building discipline. Build routines, build systems, build habits that don't ask for permission. Because when discipline becomes your foundation, success becomes your default. So the next time you don't feel like it, do it anyway. That's where the magic is. Not in feeling good, but in doing good. Not in waiting for a wave, but in becoming the one who creates it. Discipline won't always feel exciting, but it will always be effective. And in the end, it's not the feeling that shapes your future, it's the follow-through. How you start your morning often determines how you live your entire day. The first hour after you wake up isn't just another part of the day, it's the foundation. And just like a house is only as strong as its foundation, your day is only as focused, powerful, and productive as the way you begin it. Most people roll out of bed, grab their phone, scroll through social media, check messages, and immediately hand over their peace to the noise of the world. Before they've even stood up, their attention is scattered, their focus hijacked, and their minds flooded with distractions. And then they wonder why they feel anxious, unmotivated, or behind all day. The truth is, your morning routine is either building your future or stealing it. It's either putting you in control or placing your life on autopilot. Successful people don't stumble into their mornings. They design them. They understand that those first moments of the day are sacred. They protect them. They use them to align, reset, and prepare for what's ahead. You don't need a long or complicated routine. You don't need to copy what someone else does. What you need is intentionality, purpose, presence. Even a simple 30-minute routine done consistently can completely transform your life. A few minutes of silence, prayer, or gratitude, a few pages of reading or journaling, a quick stretch or walk, a review of your goals. These small actions done first thing in the morning train your mind to focus, your body to engage, and your spirit to rise above distraction. Starting your day with intention reminds you that you are in charge of your time, your energy, and your direction. Instead of reacting to life, you begin creating it. Instead of being pulled by every demand and notification, you move with clarity and purpose. The morning is also when your willpower is strongest. It's the time when your mind is most open to influence and your emotions haven't yet been pulled in 10 different directions. That's why it's the perfect time to feed your mind the right thoughts, set your intentions, and establish the energy you want to carry throughout the day. The key is consistency. It's not about having a perfect morning, it's about having a repeated one, a reliable rhythm that centers you before the chaos begins. Because once your day starts pulling at you, from emails to meetings to obligations, you won't have time to find your focus. That's why you find it first. If you want to change your life, don't start with your goals, start with your mornings. Take back the first hour, make it yours, guard it. Build habits in that space that serve who you want to become, because when you win the morning, you position yourself to win the day. And when you start stringing together days filled with clarity, discipline, and purpose, success becomes not just a goal, but a lifestyle. Your mind is the control center of your life. Every action, decision, and direction you take begins with a thought. That's why what you feed your mind is just as important, if not more, than what you feed your body. You can't expect a healthy, focused, and successful life while consuming a steady stream of negativity, noise, and distraction. Your mental diet determines your mental strength, and your mental strength determines your outcome. Most people are not even aware of what they allow into their minds each day. They wake up and immediately tune into the world, scrolling through news, social media, gossip, or entertainment that offers nothing but chaos and comparison. Without realizing it, they start their day already drained, mentally cluttered, emotionally reactive, and spiritually disconnected. What you watch, what you listen to, the conversations you engage in, the books you read, the voices you allow into your head, all of it matters. It's either lifting you up or pulling you down, either sharpening your focus or dulling it, either feeding your future or slowly poisoning it. You become what you repeatedly consume. If you constantly feed your mind fear, you'll live anxiously. If you feed it distraction, you'll live scattered. If you feed it low-level content, you'll start making low-level decisions. But if you choose to nourish your mind with wisdom, truth, clarity, and inspiration, everything begins to change. Your thoughts elevate, your emotions stabilize, your perspective expands, and most importantly, your decisions improve. Every piece of information you consume is either building a stronger mindset or breaking it down. That's why you must guard your mental space like a fortress. Be intentional. Ask yourself, is this helping me grow? Is this content aligned with my purpose? Is this voice in my life pushing me forward or holding me back? Your mental diet doesn't just shape your thinking, it shapes your self-permute. And how you see yourself influences everything from your relationships to your work to your confidence. So if you're constantly filling your mind with content that tells you you're not enough, not ready, not worthy, you will eventually start to believe it. But the opposite is also true. When you begin feeding your mind with empowering thoughts, uplifting voices, and meaningful content, you begin to believe in your own potential. You begin to act differently. You carry yourself differently. You begin to attract opportunities that match your elevated mindset. Success starts in the mind. It always has, it always will. That's why protecting your mental diet isn't optional. It's essential. You wouldn't pour garbage into your body every day and expect to feel good, so don't do it to your mind. Choose carefully what you let in. Be ruthless with distractions. Starve the noise, feed the truth. Because a strong mind creates a strong life. And when your inner world is in order, the outer world begins to reflect it. One of the greatest truths about success is that it doesn't happen all at once. It happens gradually, silently, and almost invisibly through the compounding effect. This principle is simple but powerful. Small, consistent actions, repeated over time, produce massive results. Not immediately, not dramatically, but inevitably. Most people miss this truth because they're looking for instant results. They want quick wins and overnight success. But success rarely works like that. It doesn't come in a sudden explosion. It comes in quiet growth. And because the growth isn't obvious at first, many people quit too soon. They stop showing up. They abandon the process right before the breakthrough. Imagine a single drop of water falling onto a stone. One drop makes no difference. 10 drops still seem like nothing. But over time, those drops will wear down the hardest surface, not because of force, but because of consistency. That's the compounding effect in motion. When you show up every day, whether it's reading, writing, saving money, practicing a skill, working out, praying, meditating, or building a business, you are stacking invisible progress. It may not look like much in the moment, but every single action is building something greater than you can see. The compounding effect teaches you that your daily habits matter more than your occasional bursts of effort. One workout doesn't make you fit. One healthy meal doesn't transform your body. One day of focus doesn't make you successful. But do those things consistently for months or years, and the results become undeniable. This is why patience is a form of power, because most people give up when they don't see instant results. But those who understand the compounding effect keep going. They trust the process. They know that the most valuable things in life are built over time. Real success, the kind that lasts, is always the result of discipline multiplied by time. And it works both ways. Just as small positive habits compound into success, small negative habits compound into regret. Skipping workouts, wasting time, spending carelessly, ignoring your goals. It all adds up. Not overnight, but eventually. The life you have today is the result of what you've been compounding, good or bad, for years. That's why every decision matters. Every moment counts. Because you're always building something. The only question is, what are you building? The compounding effect is proof that ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results. You don't have to be the most talented, the most connected, or the smartest. You just have to be consistent. You just have to be faithful with the small things every day, even when it feels like nothing is happening. Because eventually something is happening, growth is happening, change is happening, strength is being built, and one day the results will speak for themselves. Success doesn't shout in the beginning, it whispers. But those who listen and keep going will one day experience what others call sudden success, when in reality, it was just the quiet power of compounding all along. Goals are important. They give us direction, clarity, and something to aim for. But goals alone are not enough. Setting a goal is only the starting line, not the finish. The truth is, success is not achieved by setting goals. It's achieved by building and sticking to a process. The process is where transformation happens. The process is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Too often, people become obsessed with outcomes. They say, I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to earn 6 figures. I want to write a book, or I want to start a business. But what they forget is that a goal without a process is just a wish. A target without a strategy is just a fantasy. You can't control whether the goal happens exactly the way you pictured it, but you can control your commitment to the process that makes it possible. The process is the system you follow every single day. It's the small, consistent actions you take regardless of how far the goal may seem. It's the daily grind, the quiet effort, the repetition. It's showing up when the excitement fades. It's writing 1 page a day instead of fantasizing about the bestseller book. It's making healthy choices each day instead of fixating on the number on the scale. It's improving your skill set every week instead of waiting for the perfect opportunity. When you focus on the process, something powerful happens. You shift your mindset from outcome-based thinking to growth-based living. You stop asking, how far do I have to go? And start asking, how can I get better today? That change in focus takes pressure off the goal and puts power into your hands. Because the process is something you can control, improve, and own. Success comes to those who fall in love with the process. Because while goals give you motivation, processes give you momentum. And momentum, once it builds, becomes almost unstoppable. The more you commit to the process, the more progress you make. And the more progress you make, the more confidence you gain, and before you know it, the goal isn't some far-off idea, it's a natural result of what you've been doing all along. Focusing on the process also keeps you grounded. It helps you stay consistent even when the results aren't immediate. Because let's be honest, there will be days when the progress feels slow, when the goal feels distant, when you feel like quitting. But if you've built a process that works, you don't need to rely on feelings to keep going. You rely on discipline. You trust the system. The goal sets your direction. The process shapes your destiny. Fall in love with what you do daily. Build habits that carry you forward. Because in the end, the process is the path to every goal you've ever dreamed of. Your identity is not shaped by what you say you want. It's not built on wishful thinking or the dreams you talk about when you're inspired. Who you truly are is shaped by what you do consistently. The version of yourself you become, the one people experience, the one that creates your future, is formed by your habits, your routines, and your repeated actions. You are what you repeatedly do. Excellence isn't a single act, neither is failure. Both are patterns. Most people carry an image of the person they want to be in the future: successful, disciplined, focused, strong, kind, bold, driven. But that person doesn't appear overnight. That person is built one choice at a time. Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. When you consistently show up on time, you become reliable. When you exercise consistently, you become healthy. When you speak kindly every day, you become compassionate. The behavior comes first. The identity follows. This is why habits are more than just daily tasks. They're declarations of who you are. And every time you follow through on a positive habit, no matter how small, you reinforce a new version of yourself. That's how change becomes real, not by trying to change everything overnight, but by building a new rhythm, one small behavior at a time. It works in reverse too. If you constantly avoid responsibility, make excuses, waste time, or break promises to yourself, those actions shape your identity as well. Over time, you begin to believe, this is just who I am. But you're not stuck. You're just rehearsing a pattern that became familiar. And the good news is, patterns can be changed. Habits can be rewritten. And identity can be rebuilt. The question is, what are you doing consistently? What routines are you running without even thinking? Because even the smallest habits, when repeated enough, become automatic. And once they become automatic, they start running your life. You don't rise to the level of your intentions. You fall to the level of your systems. If you want to change your life, start by changing what you do each day. You don't need to make massive changes all at once. You just need to start being the person you want to become today. Do one thing that version of you would do. Then do it again tomorrow. Keep repeating it. Because the more you act in alignment with your future self, the closer you become to that version of you. Transformation isn't an event, it's a process. And the process is built on repetition. So choose your actions wisely. Choose your habits intentionally. Because whether you realize it or not, you're becoming someone every single day. The only question is, are you becoming the version of yourself you truly want to be? The answer lies not in what you wish for, but in what you do. Repeatedly. Success is never an accident. It's the predictable result of small, consistent actions. These 10 habits may seem simple, but the power lies in repetition. Start today. Commit for 90 days. And I guarantee you won't recognize your life in 6 months.